So don't be scared. No one is going to get retrenched. There will just be a change of what we used to do to something else. We must just move from what we are used to do to this stage where things are done differently, right? Okay, the fourth industrial revolution in transport sector now. So I'm going to touch on 1 or 2 technologies that are affecting the transport sector in all the 8 subsectors that I've spoken to before. So the first one, I talked about aerospace, the aeroplanes, everything that moves goods and passengers by air. And this is one of the technologies that is now currently buzzing in that subsector, drones. Have you guys heard or have you guys seen drones before? Yeah, so you need to start thinking of anything, any qualification in the drones area. You can be a drone pilot. And here on the slide, I'm also showing what you can do. It says there, what is a drone? It's an aircraft without any human pilot, crew, or passengers on board, but it's controlled by who? By a person. So even though the drone is a 4R technology, there is a person that must control the drone. So you go and study to be a drone pilot. So not all opportunities lost. They can be used to monitor infrastructure projects or optimize crop performance or deliver goods. So the pictures up there that I'm showing you guys, the first one on the other side is my left-hand side. It's showing drones. They are sort of watering but below there's crops. So what we used to do before, if we have crops like that, there will be human beings there working in the farms. So now the same thing can be done by drones, but those drones are not flying themselves. There's a pilot. So you can still be a farmer, you can still do this nurturing of crops, sitting in an office, operating this drone, instead of you going in the field and getting yourself dirty. Yabo? And then the middle picture is a picture of a drone. It's carrying a package. So instead of let's say you are a company and you are delivering goods and the packages are small that they can be carried by a drone, you don't have to have somebody driving, being struck subjected to traffic on the road. They can instead use a drone to go deliver the goods to your customers. And then the other one is a police. Instead of having police, physical policemen, in our areas, we can use drones to monitor the areas. And then in forwarding and clearing, the definition of forwarding and clearing activities and supply chain relating to imports and exports of goods by all modes of transport. So what are the technologies in that subsector? E-commerce. Do you know what e-commerce is? Do you know what e-commerce is? What is e-commerce, guys? Huh? Yes, sir. He says buying products online. Do we agree with him? We do, ne? So that is e-commerce. Digital transformation encourages e-commerce, buying and selling of goods and services over an electronic network, primarily the internet. So the introduction of e-commerce, which we have seen a lot during COVID. Remember during COVID lockdown, we were not allowed to go to shops. So a lot of us were buying goods and services using the internet. So that was e-commerce, and it's still very prominent in our lives right now. Some of us do not prefer to go to shops anymore. We still are inclined to using e-commerce than doing physical shopping. And then there's also something called blockchain. When I talked about technologies in the transport sector or in EmpowaYouth, I also referred to blockchain. It says it's a system of recording information in a way it makes it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. So the process of forwarding and clearing, as I've explained, movements of goods from the supplier to the end user. So there are different tasks or different processes that this specific good must pass before they get to you as a consumer. So to eliminate things like the goods being hacked or the system the system that are used to capture the ledger for those goods being hacked, there is now a technology called blockchain. You can please Google on it and find out more about it. There are also opportunities or qualifications that you can go and study for in blockchain and be one of the experts that can help in this subsector of forwarding and clearing. Freight handling. Freight handling, it's the handling, storage, and stock control of distribution and centers. So if you guys have been to the harbors in the country, you'll see there will be like factories, right? Whereby when we get goods by sea, they are being stored in those warehouses. Sorry, not factories, warehouses. They are stored there, and when they have to move, there are people in the warehouses working. Some will be packing the goods. Some, when the goods must be transported, they offload the goods, right? You are familiar with that process, subsector. So let's see what are the technologies in that subsector. Automated smart warehouses. So now we have what we call smart warehouses, whereby the same people that used to carry a box of whatever goods and put it on a shelf. Some will have to even use forklifts to pick up the goods and shelf them. Now we have robots, we have artificial intelligence in those warehouses. We even have warehouses now that are full person in that warehouse. It's just machines, and the work gets done the way it used to be. It used to be done when there were human beings. But do you think that is just happening, Jay, with the machines? Do you think it's happening without somebody behind the scenes controlling? So there must be a qualification that will assist you to be that behind the scene person that will be a fully automated warehouse. So you can go and study robotics, you can study artificial intelligence, and you will be able to be placed in jobs like that, where you get to work in an automated warehouse. Just a demonstration of what happens in a warehouse where we have robots. Those things at the bottom are robots. They are carrying the goods. Do you see what happens? But like I've said, there is somebody behind the scene doing the human by these robots to be able to do what they're doing. Now maritime. So who can guess what happens in maritime now in terms of OER? Yeah, they export, but which technologies do you think the maritime subsector is currently using? Robots. Okay, let's see. We have what we call now autonomous shipping. So autonomous shipping, autonomous vehicles, those are vehicles of ships that drive themselves. There's no human, there's no person driving the actual ship. The ship has been driven by technology, by artificial intelligence and other technologies. Lizosebenza. I told you guys, you need to just have this mindset of thinking, okay, fine, now things are done differently. what can I do to fit in this now different world, which has a lot of technology? You guys enjoy having smartphones, dang it? You enjoy having smartphones and getting information at the tip of your fingers in your hands. So the same thing that you are doing with your smartphones, the companies in the different sectors also want to have some processes whereby things, the things that are done in those companies do not take as long as they would take when it's done by humans. Or they have processes where they want to now eliminate the dangers that can come up, that can come with women beings working in those companies. Like the one that I've just shown you guys, where I said in a warehouse you'll find that people will be climbing on stairs to shelf parcels. Ne? You can fall while you are there on a shelf. So now they created a robot to be the one picking up these things and putting them out there. And then we're not the one that used to be the one climbing there, you know, scared, maybe you'll fall. You can now work behind the scenes and be the one assisting that robot to human being, you are now safe. Yeah, well? And it sure pays more money because you will be learning technology. Because surely to pick up something and put it here and sit behind the scene and work on a computer and assist a robot, that is something else, right? So it will pay more. Go and try and look at these opportunities, guys. So in the rail subsector, rail is transportation of goods and passenger and livestock, sometimes by rail. And technologies, the technologies there are also autonomous trains that are driven by themselves and no human intervention. We also have digital scheduling. In the past, we used to pay, when we go on trains, you will pay, you will buy your ticket from someone else. So now you've got systems where you can buy online, get your ticket. When you get there, you show there may be a proof of your payment and you go in. There's no one now assisting you with buying the ticket. We also have the 3D printing, which is used to manufacture rail tracks. So some of the, for us to wait for that part to be exported, we don't have to do that anymore. We have what we call 3D printing, which we can use to manufacture those parts that we used to export. Now we can manufacture them in our own country. So that is also an opportunity for you to go and study 3D printing and be able to be that scarce skill of manufacturing parts that we used to export previously, to import previously. In the road freight, the movement of goods via road, our trucks, opportunities there, which this is one of the subsectors that grew a lot when this 4R was introduced, or grew a lot during COVID-19. Do you know why? Huh? You don't know why? Do you see a picture there on the slide? What is that? Ini? Stutu ne? Okay, what is institutu are used for in nowadays? How often do you guys see institute? And where deliver ne? Yes. So you can sit at your home and buy yourself food, and this thing will come delivering, of course, with somebody driving it, deliver the goods to you. Ne? So this scooter, motorcycle drivers, this is a very, this is one of the top scarce or top hard-to-fill vacancies in the TETA, because companies in the road freight, they want scooter drivers because they have seen how business has increased as a result of people buying goods online and food online. Therefore, they need more drivers that can deliver for them. Have you guys thought of being scooter drivers? You haven't? Not interested. Not even. But now you know there's a need. So you guys you can't sit and say I'm unemployed when you know there's a need for scooter drivers. Sometimes, guys, let's not be choosy. And yes. Go drive a scooter. Come to TETA. We have opportunities where we can, give you an opportunity to go and be trained as a scooter driver and be placed, and also be empowered to start your own business as a scooter driver. So you won't be working for somebody else. You'll have your own scooter. You'll be linked to different retailers, different businesses that require the services of scooters delivering. Ne? So think about it. Maybe it's not an attractive opportunity, but it's an opportunity. Tokusalayo, ne? Passenger, I'm going to run very fast now because my time is almost up. Road passenger has to do with buses. It's the transit of passengers through bus transport, and the opportunities there are also, I spoke about digital payments and digital ticketing. We have those opportunities now. Usually, in the past, when you go into a bus, you pay the driver. So now you can make those payments using digital ticketing and payments. And we also have autonomous vehicles. We don't have them now in the country, but they are something that the subsectors are looking out for on those buses, and they will be taking you to your destination, believe it or not. The last subsector, taxi. You guys have heard of Ubers, right? Bolt, Taxify. That is the technology that is in the taxi industry. So skills and jobs implications for the 4IR. This slide, guys, I would suggest or I would advise that you take a picture of this slide, because this slide shows you the top 10 emerging jobs in the transport sector and the top 10 declining jobs. So if you are looking into studying this year or in the future, look at the top 10 emerging jobs. These are the jobs that are in demand right now, or in demand as a result of 4IR. And the other jobs, I'm not saying you must not look into them, but you look into them thinking that in the future, because of technology, they might be redundant. So you don't want to go study something that will be redundant. So let's just take note of the top 10 emerging jobs. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm going to move now. This slide, it talks to the obsolete skills or occupations. So the occupations that you see on the slide here are occupations in the transport sector. But this slide is basically saying to you that for bus drivers, for example, there's a probability of 67% that this job will be computerized in the future. Remember I talked to you about buses that will be driving themselves. So if you want to be a bus driver, you need to start thinking again, because in the future, that job will be automated. It will be computerized. Ne? So you can take a note, take a screenshot of this so that you remind yourself of the occupations that we currently have in the transport sector that would be greatly affected by 4IR in the future. This is my last slide, guys. This slide is top 10 occupations right now at TETA or in the transport sector that we have identified with the stakeholders in the transport sector to be the occupations that are in demand. Ne? Do you see which one is the first one there? Motorcycle. Remember what I said about motorcycle, scooter drivers. So don't look down on those scooter drivers. Go and empower yourself and get a qualification of being a scooter driver. And get yourself a scooter driver license, guys. It's not that difficult. And yet, you will see when you have it, you will have a lot of doors opening for you. And I said, it is not only you hiring for somebody else, you can start your own business.